metaethics in computer ethics. What does metaethics mean? Let's have a simple definition first. Meta means beyond. Ethics, on the other hand, is a set of right conduct in different professions. Still a little bit confused? Let me give you further examples about metaethics.
Metaethics is a term subject to potential misunderstanding. Halverson regards metaethics as a generic name for inquiries that have as their object the language of moral appraisal. It does not, however, reflect a universal understanding of the term. Metaethics can be defined more broadly as a generic name of inquiries about the source of moral judgment, as well as about how such judgments
Now,
are to be
you know what's the
justified.
definition of metaethics. Now, let's justify 3 computer ethical dilemmas. This is privacy, this is authority deception, and piracy. So, how can we justify whether these 3 ethical dilemmas in computer are good or bad, or ethical or unethical? So, let me give you 3 examples. Are you ready for it? Of course you are.
Piracy.
Let's discuss
Is it
about
ethical
piracy.
or unethical? Here's a piracy situation. First, consider piracy, a common ethical dilemma in today's digital world, involving a wrongful appropriation of computing resources. As an example, suppose someone uses a personal account on a university's mainframe computer for something that has no direct relation to university business. Such use could involve anything from sending a personal email message to a hometown friend to conducting a full-blown private business on the computer, billing, payroll, inventory. Now here's the question. Is there anything unethical about sound computer usage? Piracy. Some answered it would be unethical. Some would likely say that above described activities are indeed unethical, whether only the email message is involved or the larger scale business activities, provided that such use is prohibited by the university's published computer utilization policies. The guiding principle here would be based on the purpose for which the university intended the computer to be used. Any utilization for purposes other than what is intended as specified in the usage policy would be unethical. A similar argument would be applied to the misuse of any other computing resource or digital property for which ownership and an owner's wishes for those resource materials could be established explicitly or implicitly. Answer: it's ethical. On the other hand, some say that only the full-scale business activities really were unethical as they tied up too much memory and slowed down the machine's operation, thereby depriving other legitimate users of access to a reasonable performance of the computing resources in question. However, the personal email message may not be unethical because it represented a significant drag on operation on no deprivation of services performance for other legitimate users. The guiding principle here is consequence or harm. situation says no harm, no privacy situation. Suppose student A enters a public computer laboratory on campus and encounters a machine still logged into student B's account. Presumably, student B forgot to log off when she left the log. Student A then decides to get nosy and accesses the personal files that are available on the system belonging to system B. Is this behavior unethical? Answer: it's unethical. Some say would maintain that the behavior is unethical because the only person who is entitled to access someone's personal files is the owner of those files, unless the owner knowingly grants permission to others. This is of course based on the notion that the original purpose of any personal file is to serve the sole needs of the owner until the owner says differently. Answer: it's ethical. Some will be based on the consequences. If student A logged student B off the system after snooping around and never revealed it to student B or anyone else any confidential information he or she may have seen, then no harm would accrue to student B from student A's intrusion. So,
Preview.
it could be argued that student A's snooping was not unethical. But if student A passed on any personal or confidential information about student B or failed to log student B off after looking at the personal files, then an ethical action could be involved in potential harm might result. Deception situation. Now, let's look
Preview.
at a dilemma involving what may arguably be regarded as an abuse of power by authority, but certainly involves an instance of deception. A student is strongly suspected by his university of a major fair use computer policy violation involving a hoax email allegedly being sent to the student under the name of a prominent administrator. This email proved to be exceedingly disruptive to students' affairs until it was identified as being fraudulent. The students suspect, though not a professional hacker, was adept enough to cover his electronic tracks well. However, the administration decided to confront the student and closely inform him that they had hired an outside expert whose skills were sufficient to uncover electronic evidence of the student's perpetration of the hoax. The suspect, those was being deceived in an effort towards an admission of responsibility, which the student eventually did provide. Did the administration behave unethically in this instance? Well, let's analyze. Some would maintain that lying under any circumstances is wrong. This follows, of course, from an idealist emphasis on the universal importance of truth. Some can argue, however, that the end justifies the means in this case. The greater good was being served by any means used to identify the perpetrator dispense
Preview.
a severe penalty, and hopefully deter future instances of similar computer use violations.
Hello again. Now, we have discussed 3 ethical dilemmas in computer ethics. And it has been justified whether it's ethical or unethical. Now, my question is, can you think of other ethical dilemmas or computer crimes that are related to computer ethics? Now, justify it whether it's ethical or unethical. Put your meta-ethics concept. Now, I want you to get a piece of paper, write the ethical dilemmas that you have in mind, and try to justify it whether it's ethical or unethical. Since we have given you 3 examples, you may have now an idea. So take your time in writing and use your words properly in order to know it's ethical or unethical, and have some research for more information. So guys, that's all. I'm Raymond Sunny Itabu reporting for METAETHICS in Computer Ethics. Thank you for listening. See y'all.